Hey, Shalom, Israel. This is the ISUPK down in Florida. I'm Captain of 10,000 Shamoy Yalla. We're here to let you know 53rd annual Lord's Passover going to be held down here in Florida. It's going down in South Florida, Cocoa Beach.
Friday, April 15th, 2022.
The lamb, the wine, the brotherhood, the sisterhood, you understand? Good music, good weather, the palm trees, the whole nine.
This is going to be glorious. Book your hotels now at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites, 301 Tucker Lane, Cocoa Beach, Florida, 32926.
April 15th and the 16th. Don't just book for the 15th. Book for the 15th and the 16th.
It's going down Friday, April 15th at the Space Coast Convention Center.
Moses told Pharaoh we need 3 days to be able to go out into the wilderness and serve our power the way he commands. You're going to have to get that off with your boss, with your slave master. So make sure you in the building. Cocoa Beach, Florida, April 15th to 16th, 2022 is going down. We'll see y'all there. Shalom.
Black power, 144,000. I'm just trying to make 144,000. 144,000. I'm just trying to make 144,000. It's hard to be you in the world you can't trust. They speaking vanity, but they ain't saying much. Got a swag, make a bad bitch blush. My power of perfection, so they keep stumbling, they ain't good enough. And plus, I'm stalking revenge. I don't know if it's love or it's lust. You know my bio, I ain't giving up. And if I gotta be corrupt, I can't live it up. But truth is, I need more bucks. I bear arms like a crutch. And if they want beef, we make it cold cuts. I ain't your typical nigga. I'm a professional with red form. About to transform to the celestial. This the home of the truth, and that's where it stays. This world trying to manipulate me in the maze. But I gotta get it on in these last days. I'ma do it my way, I ain't trimming my ways. Hey, I'm coming for the glory. Hey, to shake these devils off. He ain't solid, he falls. How I feel when you're real and you're really just the only one. And I know they gon' cross. That's why they still stand firm. On this road, on the loner side, feel when you're real and you're really just the only one. These niggas covered in another spirit. If it ain't authentic, I ain't trying to hear it. Not a word. He brought Molly, I brought brimstone. I got my feet to the ground like the Flintstones. Ready to snap like a wishbone. You get with it or you get blitzed on. I'm a spectacle to him, they don't know what he on. My retribution gon' be sweeter than a honeycomb. I love my women, they stack dollars for me. Big up the highs, he like a father to me. B got me swinging like Ray Charles. Do not intertwine me with they flaws, boy. I'm flying in projectiles. Mighty man, nigga, that's word to my stepchild. And shout out to Clockin', I miss you, shawty. Pray they doors and them angels go and get you for me. Hey, I'm coming for the glory. Hey, to shake these devils off. He ain't solid, he falls. How I feel when you're real and you're really just the only one. And I know they gon' cross. That's why they still stand firm. On this road, on the loner side, feel when you're real and you're really just the only one.
Es conmigo, lo parece.
Purchase your tracks today.
Know the people been waiting for a minute for something authentic. Came in the truth and bossed in it, made niggas regroup. Had to shed light on the false image, UPK whole court. Now who the fuck won scrimmage? 2 words for soft flicks. What is good riddance? Don't affiliate with feminine symptoms. I know you feel me, nigga. This a death threat to hip-hop. You don't stop that weak shit, I'ma mix a lean with some grimlock. When the last time you heard it this raw? What I wish for's when the earth inherited by the piss ball. We been to war, them the ones I'm taking risks for. Ain't got no picks or no cards to hold. Holy angels watch my steps and block guard my soul. Can't let them leave my body cold. I know you feel me, nigga. Let the wicked weak and the meek prevail. God never been 50-50, I should now wake and sleep a cell. Let the righteous cry, silence the pretender. A rebel without a cause, as long as I remember. I'm taking the kingdom, the only thing on my agenda. Can't avoid me, nigga. Middle finger to the ones that try to destroy me. Revenge of beauty, I'm a beast. I told the bitch she can't eat, let she join me for dinner. My God ain't got no regard for a sinner. When Paul fall on him like timber, I know you feel me, nigga. In the eyes of terror, I stand still. Go to work for the colony, bring it back to the anthill. Plus everything I drop heavy as an anvil. Show you how to stand like a man in this damn field. I know you feel me, nigga. Fuck equality, it gotta be one man win and the rest lose. Wave devastator, I'm calculating my next move. UPK with real niggas seek refuge. Body shots for pause, that'll get you bruised. My niggas whole ranker, check your little attitude. I came to fuck up your move on your little holiday like I'm Mr. Scrooge. Resurrected from the grave, walking from the fall. Visions in my eyes, gripping the mic, screaming God bless the underdog, die by the letter. And live by that protocol, walk by faith, not by sight. Ain't no hope for getting struggles. Life like I'm a war resist, or get poured into a world that never left me. I will endure, election will be sure, correction will be swift. No Will Smith, but I am legend. What else would you call the killer of deception? A leader got soldiers on post in every direction. On go like a German shepherd, young and a restless, wear honor like a diamond necklace. I know you feel me, nigga.
Purchase your tracks today.
It's wrong, you know that. What is it?
All right, most of them, let's clap it up. Shalom, Israel. We are the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Start out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. We've been teaching the truth to Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans according to the Bible since 1969. We're going to get right into it. So tonight we're going to talk about knowing your enemy. And this is a very crucial time for you to really understand who your enemy is. Baba Kasha, if I could, can I get Ecclesiasticus chapter 12, verse 10? Right now is a very crucial time for us to know who our enemy is, right? Because, we know what's going on over in Europe. We got Ukraine and Russia, you know what I'm saying? Russia invading Ukraine and all of that. And we sending our prayers over to Ukraine. Meanwhile, we sending, we got warfare going on right next door in our neighborhoods, you know what I'm saying? In the hoods, in the barrios, in the ghettos, on the reservations and all of that. It's warfare going on right here it's warfare and our people are being oppressed right here in our faces in our country, right? In this country, right? But we sending prayers to, to Europe, not even realizing that those are the same people oppressing us. Like Europeans came over here and colonized America, and we over here praying for Europe. Every time something happens overseas, we praying for Europe. You know what I'm saying? What was a couple months ago, about a year ago, they was talking about pray for France, right? Or pray for they praying for all the, like we quick to send a prayer over to Europe whenever they get a little bit of they feeling a little bit of distress. You know what I'm saying? But a brother can't get, our brothers and sisters dying over here every day, can't get no type of attention. Like How many blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans have died by the hands of our oppressor? How many blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans have been shot down in the street and gotten no justice? Not only are they not getting justice, but these oppressors are getting paid to kill us in the street.
Right.
And our tax dollars is funding them to kill us in the street. And at this point, you know what I'm saying? Like last year, it was hashtag what's the brother name?
George Floyd?
Yeah, it was the water. It was hashtag George Floyd, hashtag you know what I'm saying? All these names who were just dying back to back. But now, like, it really ain't like I can't remember the last time like I heard like it's not getting as much attention as it was. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But right now we talking about pray for Ukraine and all of that. Meanwhile, you can't pay your rent. Meanwhile, you scared to get in your car and drive, and whether you know what I'm saying, whether you're getting pulled over or not, you know what I'm saying? You scared to even see a police car behind you, whether them lights is on or not.
Right.
Like every time you see a police car, you know what I'm saying, your heart is jumping.
Right.
Because you being killed and oppressed, man. And that's why now is especially now when we seeing these wars and rumors of wars and all these things going on around us. Now is especially the time for us to understand that first of all, we have an enemy. Because we want to love everybody. Baba Kashaf, you could, sir. What Ecclesiasticus chapter 12, verse 10. Is that the right one? Okay, most on Christ. Order.
The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 12, verse 10, and it reads, "Never trust thine enemy."
Never trust thine enemy. Never trust your enemy, man. That's very crucial. That is practical knowledge. That is practical knowledge to just not continue to trust and love and make marriages and make friendships and make, you know what I'm saying, like with the people who are killing you. It's very practical. Read that from the top, Baba Kasha.
Khan. The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 12, verse 10. "Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness."
So just like iron is surely going to rust over time, right? That's how your oppressor's wickedness is. Like he is surely going to be wicked to you, man. He is surely going to oppress you, surely going to destroy you every chance that he gets, because he understands that you're not his people. You're not their people. But we think that, you know, we've been, because of Christianity, because of Martin Luther King and all these shepherds who lead us astray, you know what I'm saying, who lead the flock astray.
Right.
Like because of the lies that we've been taught, we think that God loves everybody and we gotta love everybody.
Right.
And we especially feel obligated to love, like we think that we're gonna love our way out of oppression.
Right.
Like your oppressor is gonna like you're gonna love your oppressor so much that he finally stops killing us every day. He gonna finally, you know what I'm saying, take us out of the reservations where they put us to steal our land from the Native Americans.
Right.
Like they gonna just magically, after 400 or 500 years of killing and rape, robbing, and murdering blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, they gonna all of a sudden just decide that they gonna have a what's it called, an epiphany, a sudden, they gonna suddenly just wake up and be like, oh, what we doing is wrong to these people.
Right.
But that's like we gotta get out of that mind state. We got the beer goggles on right now, looking at our oppressor. You know what I'm saying? Thinking that he's, you know, we can make a friend out of a lifelong enemy.
Right.
And they've been like I can't make it any. They can't make it any clearer that they're our enemy, and it can't be more obvious that they're our enemy. Like all we gotta do is just open. Like if you got eyes in your head, you can see that this is an enemy. And just as iron rust, so is his wickedness, man.
Right.
Baba Kashafa, that was it on that, right? It's
you want to go to the next verse.
Lie, is it? Okay, no, so Romans chapter 3, verse 11, Baba Kashai, if I could. So right now we gotta understand that your oppressor is your enemy, man. Your oppressor. As a matter of Salaki, before we get that, can I get Exodus chapter 3, verse 15? So we gotta understand that the first thing we gotta understand is this is our enemy, man. And that's gonna make the next couple, that's gonna help us understand our situation, man, in this world, man. Why we're dying all over the country or all over the world, man. Any country that Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans live in amongst their oppressor, man, we're dying at their ends. Everywhere. Like, it's gonna make it clear your situation. You're gonna understand your situation better if you just understand that you have an enemy and to never trust your enemy.
That's right.
And here's another thing that you got to understand. Baba Kashaf, if you could.
Exodus what?
3 verse 15.
Chapter
3 verse 15. Khan. This is another thing that we got to understand. That we're at war, man. That's why we have an enemy. Because this is a war. Like the life that we live in, man, it's the condition of our battle, man. And we can't fight if we don't know who we fighting. Like, it's evident. Like, if you don't know who you're fighting, then you're gonna either, like, you're gonna consider your friends enemies, and you're gonna consider your enemies friends, man. And that's what we do as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Like, we kill. You know what I'm saying? We'll kill each other, and kicking each other's doors, and sleep with our brothers' wives and all of that. Like, we'll transgress against our brothers in a heartbeat because of proximity. But then your oppressor, your oppressor kills your brother or your sister in the street. And what do? We go into the streets and marching with our oppressor.
Right.
Like, I can't even count on my hands how many times I've seen riots or so-called riots and marching and protest talking about hands up, don't shoot, and no justice, no peace, and all of that. And then you got you protesting violence against one nation committing a violent act toward another nation, and then you sitting there marching with this nation. Like that don't make no sense. And the reason why we doing things that don't make sense is because of Christianity, man. Right. And the lies that the Christian church have taught you, and the lies that all these snakes, these pastors, Martin Luther King, Creflo Dollar, TD Snakes have taught you, and the lies that your oppressors taught you, man. That's right. Baba Kashaf, you could.
The book of Exodus, chapter 3, verse 15. And God said moreover to Moses, thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, the Lord God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, have sent me unto you.
Salakia, is that Salakia? The Lord is a man of war. Which one is that?
That's
I probably got it back. 15 and 3.
Yeah,
Salakia. I got it backwards. But
you want to read it?
Baba Kashai.
All right. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 15, verse 3. The Lord is a man of war. The Lord is his name.
The Lord is a man of war, man. And as his children, man, that means that we are children. We're men of war. The men are men of war, man. Like, we're at war right now, man. Because this is like, the Lord is a man of war. And the Lord is telling you that you have an enemy, and to never trust him, because he's a man of war, man. And because he loves his children. And he loves them so much that he wants you to separate from your oppressor, from your enemy, man. It's not it's practical for, for you to separate from your enemy, especially during warfare, man. Like, you don't want to be intermixed, and like, you don't want to be intermingled with your enemy.
Right.
That creates confusion, that creates chaos, and that's the state that we living in right now. Like, we got to understand the condition that we living in right now. We got to understand who we are, what's going on around us, man, so that we can make better, better decisions. Because right now because we've been taught so many lies. We're making poor decisions, man. We're sleeping with our oppressor. We're calling them friends. We're trying to, like, we're dying to move into their neighborhoods and isolating, like we end up isolated, surrounded by our enemies. And then that's how we get instances where you know what I'm saying, that got murdered, and the brothers and sisters that get murdered in the military, Vanessa again, and the other sister, what was her name? Slakia.
It's a thousand sisters.
It's a bunch of sisters and brothers that get wronged and murdered and molested and raped and kidnapped and sold, you know what I'm saying, by joining their person's military. You know what I'm saying? We move into, that's how you get situations like that sister that was, you know what I'm saying, she caught herself partying and having a good old time with all these, you know what I'm saying, all these white women. And she ended up face down in a pool somewhere, and they don't know, like, they don't know how she got, like, they don't know how she died. They just like, it's like, go ahead, sir.
No, I mean, you go ahead, because that's what you was done.
Well, no, like, she ended up dead, and none of these sisters, it was like a good, like, 10, she was surrounded by 10 white women. You know what I'm saying? They all, like, she all taking pictures and looking all happy, and then she come up missing, and you know, she wind up dead in that house, and none of these women know, or they claim that they don't know what happened to her.
Right.
That's how we end up in those situations, man, not knowing who our enemy is. Yes, sir.
No, the water, Most High in Christ. So what you're saying is heavy, man. It wasn't just that sister. It was a brother recently too. He went on a hunting trip, and it was the same scenario. You know what I'm saying? It was like 6 white males and him, and then he ended up dead, and it was the same situation. But what I wanted to speak on, man, was, you know, the scripture that you brought out in Ecclesiastes. It said, "Never trust thine enemy," man. And like the important aspect of that scripture is the trust part. You know what I'm saying? The scriptures say in Proverbs 3 that to trust in the Lord with all your heart, right? And to lean not to your own understanding, but to acknowledge him in all your ways, and he will direct your paths.
Right.
Because who you trust is who's going to lead you.
Right.
Who's going to be directing where you're going. And that's why it's dangerous to trust your enemies, because whoever you trust, they're the ones that's leading you on a particular course, man. And us trusting Martin Luther King, you know what I mean, and trusting his instincts is what led us to trust our oppressor, what led us to trust our enemy, man. To have in the back of our heads that at some point, like how you said, this open enemy who has a track record of over 400 years, showing us who he is, showing us how he feels about blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, showing us all the 500 treaties that he never kept his word on, right? Showing us that that he had no regard for the old or for the young, right? On plantations, selling our children off, you know what I'm saying? Having us work in the fields for you know what I mean, from sun to sundown, you know what I mean? Taking our mothers and raping them, taking our daughters and sisters and raping them, you know what I'm saying? Selling them off, making a buck breaking our men, you know what I'm saying? Making us fight each other in those in those brawls for entertainment, right? He's shown us time and time again who he is, but you had these leaders, these fake shepherds, man, you know what I mean, who taught us to still trust him, man. That at some point he'll have a conscience and come to himself, and then, you know what I'm saying, have our best interests at heart, man. And the bottom line is, man, is that the Lord is saying he can't be trusted. But why? Because the scriptures say what the Lord has made crooked, no one can make straight, man.
Right.
And the white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of, man. And he's a crooked serpent, man, from the beginning until the end, man.
Right. Give that a hand. The water for bringing that out. Like, that was a long list of just things that they've done this, and that's not even half. That's not even a quarter of the things that they've done to us. And it's not just like we like to say, like, you know, our people like to say, you know, that was so long ago and times have changed, you know, it's referring to slavery, right? But these are things that they are doing today. Not only are they doing these things today, but they did it before slavery. They've been doing it for years and years and years and years.
Right.
Baba Kashai, can I get Psalms 83 real quick? Salakia. I'm gonna come back to that Romans. Well, yeah, I'm gonna come back to that Romans.
Psalms 83.
Baba Kashai. Like they like this ain't their first time, and it's not gonna be their last if we keep on trusting our enemy, like the scriptures say not to do. Like this is how you had something you wanted to bring out.
Khan, if I could, what you're saying, what you're bringing out is so heavy and so apparent for Black and Hispanic and Native American people to see and understand, is not to trust the person who has kept up the best, what they call that. His track record is solid.
Right.
He's never let up off of our neck, never let up off of the discrimination of Hispanics, calling my brothers criminals and savages, cartel members and murderers and rapists. That's what Donald Trump called them. And then they turn around and let Ukrainians to the same border that they denied my Hispanic brothers who are fleeing from desolation, starvation, and utter poverty.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Which goes to show that they have complete control over the switch.
Right.
It's in their hands. But as Black and brown people, we shouldn't be so serving and loving and forgiving of a man who's always had control over if he would give us a crumb, or if he would give us a slice of bread, or if he would not lynch, murder, and rape us, as much as we should look towards ourselves and love each other, man.
Right.
Because the devil the Bible speaks of loves himself. Right. He loves his own.
Right.
But Blacks and Hispanics, they don't love their own. They love the devil.
That's right.
They don't love God. They love the devil. And when we tell them as priests that God, it's written up in the Bible that the Lord hates Esau.
Right.
The Lord hates everybody who does evil to his children.
Right.
They fight us.
Right.
To love somebody who has oppressed and murdered them and raped them for 400 years and stolen from them. Right. And they hearken on to this person, man. It's way too late in the game.
Right.
It's way too late in the game. The Lord is throwing Hail Marys at this point for his people, man. We are, and here in the Israelite School of UPK, we're gonna stay out till the last second of the clock. That's right. The last second of the clock for you.
Damn right.
All those brothers smoking weed. Good night. Twerking on TikTok. Talking about brothers still. Y'all,
God,
you sisters,
good night.
You sisters out there getting your hot girl summer in. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what rod you blew last night or how many.
Jesus
We're
Christ.
out here for you too. You know what I'm saying? And
right.
as much, you need to stop saying God loves everybody, because that is the shackle on your mind. You stop saying that Billy Bob is my brother. That is the oppressor and the devil the Bible speaks of. You can do business with Billy Bob, interact with him. You know, what do people do?
Be professional.
Be professional with Billy Bob. The water top us off. Be professional with Billy Bob. But you are not to be making marriages with Billy Bob and having sex with him. Right. You're not supposed to go over his house, get drunk, and end up dead in a swimming pool the next morning.
Right.
That's what you're not supposed to do.
That's right.
And if I gotta tell you that in 2022 and you fight me over it, well, brother, I can't do much more to save your own life.
That's right.
You have to make a choice.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like you, please.
Most High Christ, get out of here. Like, I mean, good night. Like the priest said, like you could, you know what I'm saying, make a little money, you know what I'm saying, using your oppressor, but just don't sleep with him. Like, good night. Like, that's the least you could, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't put your family and your children in their hands. Don't put your bloodline in their hands. Like, that's the least you could do. You know what I'm saying? Seeing the rape, rob, and murder and the condition of your people. If you go march in the streets, you know what I'm saying? Like, be all the way about it. Be all the way about it. Like, don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, you protesting the death of your people and then going right home to your white husband or your white wife. And you know what I'm saying? Like getting, like the priest just said, you getting lit with them, getting drunk with them, and then you end up, I almost said wake up dead, but you end up dead the next morning. Like, it's like you had some.
Nah, man, it's heavy, man, because you know the scriptures say that the Lord chose Jacob. He loved Jacob.
Right.
And you gotta put this in practical terms, man. In relationship, right? Whether it could be with the man, you know, on the side of a man, or a side of a woman. If a woman chooses a man, right, but she had multiple brothers or that wanted to deal with her, once she chose that man in the world, those brothers are like, damn, yo, you know what I'm saying? Now who she chose puts him at odds with the other people that wanted her, right? Vice versa. If a man chooses a woman and he had multiple women that wanted him, he chooses her, that automatically puts her at odds with the women who wanted him, right? So the Lord choosing us automatically made us an enemy to the heathen nations, man, right? And that's where we mess up at, because the Lord chose us, they're always going to be at odds with us. They're always going to conspire against us because he chose us. And we forget that we're chosen.
Right.
We forget that he chose us, but we're choosing them. Right. But they hate us because they know that he chose us, man. Right. It's obvious to them. Because even though we're on the bottom, we're oppressed, we get stepped on, we still do everything better than them. We look better than them. They take all their cues from us.
Right.
Right.
Listen, how did cornrows become the new fashion? Because Kim Kardashian or her sisters got cornrows, man.
Right.
Oh, this is a new way to protect your hair.
Right.
To get a bonnet, and you can wear it to the store. It's comfortable. It's protective. Sisters been doing that since off the goddamn slave shit, man.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Our people been doing that, man.
Right.
Using protective styles. It's as old. It's as old as the earth, man. You understand? Ain't nothing new under the sun. But they take their cues from us, and then it's like we get tickled when they take on our culture.
Right.
We laugh at Jack Harlow because he can rap real well. But then when we see him being homosexual, he stands next to Drake, and he's looking at Drake, lusting over Drake, making a joke out of being a homosexual. We laugh at that like it's cute because he raps good. Right? When Eminem does our art form, it's man, Eminem is rapping now, man. He's a great rapper. Why? Because he's white. You know what I'm saying? Because who God hates, the smallest amongst the heathen, the bastard of the earth, because he imitates what we do. That's supposed to make us get excited.
Right.
This is the reason why we've lost our heritage, man. Because guess what else we do? We're fascinated with these fake so-called Jews who took on our culture, and now what's happened, man? We've lost our inheritance, man.
Right.
That's right. Now we got to fight with our people and tell them that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are the true Israelites, man. Because we have a goddamn imposter who was good at imitating us. You know what I'm saying? Imitating what we do. Right. You know what I'm saying? Playing a role. Now he calls himself Jewish, and we call ourselves Mexican. We call ourselves Colombian. We call ourselves Honduran, Ecuadorian, Haitian. You know what I'm saying? Dominican. You know what I'm saying? We call ourselves what we're not, and let them call ourselves what we are, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That comes from trusting your enemy, man.
Right.
So like,
right now, that a hand. Like, what y'all bringing out is super heavy, and it's so many things. Like, you could just go. It's so many things to talk about. Like how they've just taking advantage of us and taking our culture and giving us this garbage. Like like we put down our culture of being the real Jews and we call ourselves, we want to be Jewish because your oppressor calls himself Jewish and after stealing your culture.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we have to understand in knowing our enemy, we have to understand what to do. And that's to separate. And separation ain't just a physical thing.
That's right.
It's you know what I'm saying? It is physical, but that's only part of it. Like, separation from your oppressor is to separate from the things that they do.
Right.
Like, we can't perform their culture. We can't, You know what I'm saying? We can't separate from, you can't physically separate from your oppressor and then go do his drugs that he put in your neighborhood to arrest thousands of blacks and Hispanics and then legalize it later. Like you got to separate from that whole, like you got to separate from the things that they gave you. You got to separate from their white women. You got who have murdered your, you know what I'm saying, who have gotten blacks and Hispanics murdered just by her tears, by crying wolf.
Right.
And then admitting that, you know what I'm saying, she was lying and receiving no persecution for it.
Right.
You got to separate from their military where our black, Hispanic, and Native American brothers and sisters are dying and coming up missing, man.
That's right.
Like, we have to separate from the things that they gave us, man.
That's right.
This is what like this is and we gotta realize that we gotta understand that it's never gonna change. And that's the only solution is separation. Separate from everything that they've done, that they've given to you, separate from them, their culture, all of that, man. You have to separate. That's the only way. And you have to get into these records so that you can understand why. Because we sitting here thinking that we can beg our way and march our way and marry our way until their good graces, when they've never dealt with us peacefully. They've never dealt with us humanely.
Right.
Like how long we gotta fight for like civil rights? Like how long we been fighting for civil rights? Like the civil rights movement was so in the so-called 60s, but we still getting shot in the streets and they getting off. Like the police is getting off on it, man, and getting paid for it. And we think that the civil rights movement is like the so-called civil rights movement is over. Like we not gonna get civil rights from this devil, this maniac, this inhumane creature. We're not gonna get justice from him by begging for it, man.
That's right.
We have to dig into these records. Baba Kashai, if you could bring up that Psalms 83. We're gonna start from the top.
The book of Psalms, chapter 83, verse 1. Keep not thou silence, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O power.
But in the Christian church, they want to say peace be still. They want peace for all. They want peace for everybody. Peace to the world, peace to all nations, peace in Ukraine, peace in Russia, peace in France, peace in Europe, peace to America. They talking about pray for Biden, pray for Trump, pray for, like, they want peace. But the scripture just said, what did that last part say?
Hold not thy peace.
Right. This is what, like, the scriptures is talking about hold not your peace, hold not your peace, talking to the Most High, Baba Kashai, because he has chosen us, man. And the only way that we're going to be able to get out of this condition is separation and warfare, ultimately. Not saying that you should go and pick up an AR and go start, you know what I'm saying, start no coalition and start trying to take up arms against these military, these mighty military, you know what I'm saying, nations by yourself. Not saying that you should do that, but part of the beginning of warfare is separating from your oppressor, man, and choosing your own. Baba Kashai, read on.
Verse 2. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
Slakia, read that from the top again. Top of verse 2.
The book of Psalms, chapter 83, verse 2. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult.
Thine who?
Thine enemies make a tumult.
But we all one people, right? What does that say?
Thine enemies make a tumult.
So we've had enemies since they like to say the Bible was thousands of years ago and it's irrelevant. Well, we got enemies. We've had enemies back then, and we in the same condition now, man. And they make a tumult. They make an uproar. They riled up. Again, why they riled up? Why is it such an uproar? To Salakia, go ahead, read on.
And they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
So they making it's all this commotion over you, over how all these other nations is gonna oppress you and take you and murder you and take your resources and put you into ghettos and move you to the reservations and kill your babies and kill your elderly and your young. You know what I'm saying? And you're strong men and take them out of the house. Right. And right, like put all these drugs and how you destroyed and docile and putting yourself in the position to, you know what I'm saying, go to jail. Like this is what all the commotion is about. It's about you, black man.
That's right.
How they're gonna take advantage of the Lord's chosen people.
That's right.
And did you raise your hand?
Nah, but I got something, priest. You know what I'm saying? Like this priest is bringing out. It's a trap or a tumult that these nations lay out for us. It's not a coincidence that there is a liquor store and a Christian church on every corner in the ghetto.
Right.
That is a plan. That is something that was planned. You know, just like how they had conspiracies about malt liquor. Crack was a CIA operation.
That's right.
And that is why it is the ISUPK stance that if you sell drugs, you work for the oppressor. You work for the FBI. You are the police.
Right.
You are the police if you sell drugs.
That's right.
And it's crazily enough, your boss comes to catch you every now and then. if you're not moving enough weight or whatever, you're not clever enough to get around them. Right. You're in a slavery or a job just like everyone else. But you're in the evil and most wickedest job in the goddamn reservation.
Right.
In the barrio, in the ghetto.
Right.
That's what you do. Selling drugs to your own people. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
You got children 13, 10 years old smoking and rolling joints, smoking blunts, and you're having children of your own. What do you think they're going to have? What do you think they're going to do when they turn 10?
Right.
What do you think they're going to do when they turn 13 or 14? You are the curses that are written of in the Bible. We have become those curses and enact them on ourselves. And because the ISUPK is here under commanding General Yohana, because we have the knowledge and the truth written of in the Bible in the Spirit of Christ, we can stop those curses.
That's
damn right.
That's why you need to put down the weed. You need to put down those drugs.
Right.
You need to put down the crack.
Right.
Weed is the same as crack. Did you know that? And cocaine and heroin. You're a healthy young man, a healthy or a healthy individual whatsoever. You're popping Exos. You're popping Xanax pills.
Right.
You are a drug addict. And you are tearing down your community.
Right.
Your mother is crying and praying to a white Jesus Christ over you. And it's that white Jesus Christ and the men who taught her about that white Jesus Christ's fault that you're on drugs. But now you got your brothers here to teach you the truth, man. Your brother is here to teach you what's really right and to teach you not to love your oppressor. Not to love the ways and the traps that he set before you that are laid right in front of you. A brother get depressed in the ghetto, the first thing he does is turn to drugs.
Right.
Now your second choice, if it's not drugs, you try to find, I guess, homosexuality. Homosexuals are the next trap. You're a drug addict and homosexual. You're the next Lil Uzi Vert. Right. You one of these cats out here, you're looking strange. You're looking like you're looking for a piece of change. I'm worried about you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You gotta turn away from all of those traps laid before you by your oppressor.
Right.
This was somebody laid a mousetrap out for you.
Right.
Built for you, Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian man. And I'm here to reveal that trap for you. The trap is crack. The trap is those weed dispensaries.
Right.
The trap is OnlyFans.
Right.
The trap laid out for my brothers and sisters is all of these wicked devices laid out for you to get you what you think is the easy way out of the ghetto, when the real way out of the ghetto is a fight for righteousness.
Damn right.
You know what I'm saying?
Damn right. And most times, right. You know what you said was that's what we talking about tonight, man. Like, your oppressor is doing this to you, man. Like, this whole time we sitting there trying to love everybody, love our oppressor, and love all these other nations. They're the ones who put you in the situation that you in, man. They're the reason why you marching and trying to, you know what I'm saying, fight for your life. They're the reason. Go ahead, sir.
No, Salaki, man. It just hit me, man. You know why our people want the salvation of the Caucasian? Because blacks and Hispanics, they don't care about the salvation of Africans, man.
Right.
They don't care about the salvation of Chinese people.
That's right.
East Indians. This is not like about for the salvation of all nations. When they say all nations, what they really mean is white people. But you have to ask yourself the question, like, what will make our people be like, well, what about them? And, well, aren't they going to be saved? Like,
they gotta make it.
You know why? Because our oppressors' lusts are our lusts.
Dang.
Like, if the white man's going to be condemned and destroyed, then somewhere inside of ourselves, we're like, we got to be condemned and destroyed too. Why? Because there's a part of us that loves not just him, but love what he represents, man.
Damn.
Good
You
night.
understand? And what he represents is the freedom to be a sinner.
Right. Right.
And what white Jesus represents is the forgiveness for those sins, no matter what you do.
Right.
And if I slip up and if I just fall back into it, man, that love of white Jesus is gonna forgive me, and you know what I mean, and I'll still get to go to heaven. But if you were to dig a little bit deeper into it, does that white judge forgive you for selling the crack that he put in your neighborhood? No.
Wow.
Right.
Because he needs you in that private prison to fund little Aiden's trust fund, man.
Right.
You think what I'm saying? So no, white Jesus don't forgive you. You know what I'm saying? But the Lord who would forgive you is going to destroy you because you don't want to change, man. And like the priest said, man, our fight is not like you said earlier, our fight is not it's the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. You know what I'm saying? This is a spiritual warfare, man. And the condition of the battle, as was said earlier, is a fight for righteousness, man. See, you don't want you mad at us for calling the white man the devil because you really don't want to put the blunt down.
Right.
It's easier to light the blunt than to say, you know what? I've been sleeping with all these women and I ain't kept none of them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? All I really want to do is just smash because I don't know how to be a man. I'm really emotional. I didn't know my dad. My mama was crazy. You know what I'm saying? She tried to make me her husband, make me the man of the house. I didn't know what the hell to do. You know what I'm saying? And I'm really looking for a woman to take care of me. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know how to tell her to shut her goddamn mouth because, you know, I don't want her to keep me out the goddamn house. Right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I'd rather lose my spine than lose a rib.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so I'd rather light this blunt and let her yell in my ear while I play the game. You don't do a goddamn thing. Right? Because I don't want her to call who I really fear.
Right.
Which is the white man.
That's
I
right.
don't want her to call the police.
Yeah,
That's right.
And the same goes for our women too. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't want to let go of this. Listen, you know why they don't want to say the white man's a devil? Because he's providing EBT.
Right.
He's providing SNAP, man. You understand? Listen, you know what I mean? Listen, ain't all of Israel moaning because of these gas prices? All Pharaoh did was turn up the heat a little bit. Oh, yeah. Okay. PPP, huh? Let me remind y'all where y'all at. You know what I'm saying? Let me remind y'all where y'all at, man. Right. But look, are we looking to the Lord for this situation? Or are we saying, damn, Biden, why don't you bring those gas prices down, master? Why don't you ease up on us, master? Right? We're trusting, we trust the white man because in our minds, the white man controls every aspect of our lives, man. We go to him for everything, man, for food, clothing, shelter, natural resources. Right now in Flint, Michigan, that situation with the water for those people in Flint has not changed.
Right.
Not for the children, not for the adults, not for the elderly, right? But 13.6 billion just got sent to Ukraine. And it got fast tracked through Congress. It wasn't even when they were doing the relief bill for the pandemic for us here in America. They was talking about shutting the whole government down.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They had to go through a goddamn budget review. But some white folks, some white Russians in a country that's called Ukraine, but they Russians. The actual the national language for Ukraine is Russian.
Right.
Right.
These niggas is they Russian.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
But and like you said, priest, that's why I said what you bring out so heavy, because like you said, no matter what they show us on a daily basis, the evidence that gets presented to us, man, we still say, you know what? It's bad, but you know what I mean? It's all we got. Because we don't believe in our power. We don't believe in the truth of the Bible that says that Christ was a black man, that the true Jews are black, that Hispanics and Native Indians are Israelites, man, that they're our brothers and our sisters, man, our family, man. You understand? And that the Lord chose us to rule the earth. We rather believe in Joe Biden.
Right.
We rather believe in Donald Trump.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's insane, man. And that trust is going to lead us to our destruction, because the Lord is intent on destroying America. America will be the lake of fire, man.
Damn right.
You know what I'm saying? Salaki.
Give that a hand. Damn right. Y'all bringing out some heavy points. Like, good night. Like all you gotta do is have two eyes in your head. Like just all you gotta, if you have a pair of eyes, you can see that your oppressor doesn't give a damn about Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, man. Not even as you're serving them, man. As they have their boot on your neck, physically, literally and spiritually, they have their boots on Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, man, holding them down, destroying them, keeping them in their condition, and they're still not satisfied, man. Like they own, like they control everything, man. They control everything, man. But they're not satisfied, man. And that should let you know who you are and the type of power that you could have if you would just serve the authority that chose you, which is the Most High, man. That's all you got to do, man. And what Officer Brakia just brought out was heavy. Like drugs in your community, the same thing that you love to use to get high and to enjoy yourself and party. That was a CIA operation, man. Right. Guess what else was a CIA operation, man? Abortion. Right. Planned Parenthood. That was a CIA operation. That's right. So was integration. That's right. CIA operation, man. That's right. Like, it's not a mistake. Homosexuality, CIA operation. Like, you can't turn on your TV without seeing either some pedophilia or some homosexuality, some little boy just like a little girl, and some little girl twerking on Netflix for everybody to see. Like, that was a CIA operation. The feminist movement, CIA operation, man. Because what do they got to do? They got to convince our strong Black, Hispanic, and Native American women that the only way that they can be strong and show that they have value is to be alone and fight on their own. And that makes, you know what I'm saying, like the scriptures say, for you to spoil a man's good, or for you to spoil a man's house, you have to bind the strong man first, man. Right. Ain't nothing you gonna do to a strong masculine man who you know what I'm saying, who knows how to, you know what I'm saying, to raise a household. That's right. Unless you make him feminine. Right. You take his father out of his household. You know what I'm saying? You get him high. You know what I'm saying? You make him wear a skirt in a what they call a man bag. Right. Whoa. Like, it ain't nothing that you gonna do in a strong man house, man, without seeing some sort of comfort. You gonna right. It's gonna be a little. You gonna meet a little, your little pushback. You try to
toxic masculinity.
Yeah, that's what they call it now. Toxic masculinity. Masculinity. Like, masculinity is what they call toxic masculinity. Right. But in our minds and in their minds, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing toxic with
when if there's nothing toxic when there's somebody banging at the door coming to kill us. There's nothing toxic about my masculinity then.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There's nothing toxic about how loud I get.
Yeah.
You know, how many push, all that warfare, masculine energy, you're gonna appreciate it when bombs are being dropped on the US soil.
Right. If I could real quick just touch on that. Like you hear that little bump in the night, you hear what your rib gonna do. She gonna what's
Hey, so like but the sad part is it's a woman out there that's gonna get up and try to get the bag. Because they so used to being without protection. They're so used to thinking, like, listen, man, the fact that Ukrainians got women going to war, that shows you that the white man is the devil. Right? You understand? That they're not fit to be rulers, man. And so like, let me say this, priest. The reason why blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians keep going and trusting the white man is the same reason why there's women out there right now who are vying to be future's baby mama, man. Damn. You understand? Because they didn't see what did happen over and over again. And like, you know what? I'm gonna change them. I'm gonna be that bitch that change them. I'm gonna be the one that make him turn this whole thing around. Right. I'm gonna make him lock in. And Negroes think with each new generation that we're gonna do something to prove to the white man that we can be fitted to his society and to make him love us, man. You understand? And really, it's vanity. Right. It's vanity. Right. We don't want to trust what the Lord said. We want to trust what we think, man. You understand? And it's the same way. That's why when you're dealing with the woman who's been beaten, right? Who's with a man that beats her, especially if you're a relative, if you're a cousin, a brother, the wise thing for that brother to do, you know, initially you might say, "Hey, man, don't put your hands on my family," right? But you gotta watch that woman more than you watch that brother, because number one, you don't know what she said to him to have that thing spark off anyway. Right. Because she could be, oh, you know, you loved her. She made cupcakes. Y'all went to the park together and all that, right? You know, you have all these good memories. Right. But when she with that man, she a whole different animal, man. Right. She a whole different beast, right? But on top of that, if she is innocent, okay, you have to watch and see what she learned. Hey, you sit her down. Listen, you can't be dealing with this brother. He's emotional. You know, you going back and he's gonna hurt you. You right. I'm so tired of him. I just appreciate you coming to my aid and my help. 2 weeks later, the box get the throbbing. Right. The bed sheets getting cold. Right. He did hit me, but you know what I'm saying? And then you come to the house. Hey, where's sis at? Oh, she back over there with Rob. She back with what? And you see her? Right.
Lumped up.
Game.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Well, no sweat, sis. No sweat. But if it happen again, don't call me. Yeah, right. You understand?
Damn right.
And I'm telling you, the Lord is still the same way, man. We keep going back to the person that is abusing us, and the Lord is letting them tear our behinds up, man. Blackened eyes, busted lip. We coming out there, you know what I mean, wearing the shades with the little black eye, put on the makeup. You know what I'm saying? We all right again. George Floyd, 8 minutes, 40 seconds. He's okay. I'm investing in crypto. I got Bitcoin. I'm finna have me a big house. I'm about to try to get that Lamborghini truck.
I'm not gonna go out like him.
You know what I'm saying? It's okay.
Yo.
We doing good. My kids they graduated from college. But the police still pulling over and putting a bullet in their goddamn head.
Right.
We don't learn. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's what I'm saying. Priest, what you bringing out is heavy. This is the milk. Never trust our enemy, man. We have to trust the Lord, because when the Lord disciplines us, it's not to destroy us. It's to educate us in the ways of righteousness, man. But when our oppressor puts his hands on us, man, it's to kill us and murder us, man. Right. You understand?
Right. No, what you said was heavy and exact. Like, because what you like we're not like we sitting here trying to like we like you said earlier, like we love our oppressor because it means that we can get the minor, the simple things that we want. We want to get high, so we don't fault our oppressor for oppressing us, because they're the ones who allow us to get high. They're the ones who gave us the drugs. They allow us to rob each other and do all the things that they do because we share their lust, like you said earlier, man. But they like they see they on some they see the bigger picture that we don't see. Like we think that God loves everybody, and you know what I'm saying, as long as like the law don't mean nothing as long as you repent, and everything, no matter how much you sin, is going to constantly be forgiven, because we all fall short, right? So if you slip up and you love your oppressor, so you can slip up and get high. You could slip up and you know what I'm saying, you could slip up and buy a prostitute,
Right.
but your oppressor is slipping up and oppressing you. Like your oppressor is the so-called white man is slipping up and killing you in the streets.
He ain't even slipping up, he getting up.
Yeah, damn right.
That's the first thing on his mind.
Like that's the level of, like, that's where he at. Like he killing you. You just trying to get high and get by.
Right.
Your oppressor is killing you, man. And like we brought out earlier, like these are government operations. These are pitfalls and traps set before Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans on purpose.
That's right.
Bob Kasha, you still got that Psalms 83?
That's right.
I don't think we never touched on that.
Verse 3. The book of Psalms, chapter 83, verse 3. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
They have done what?
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
They have taken crafty counsel. Like they have. I know. We. Good night. Like we've seen this before. We had to have seen this before. The Berlin Conference, where they had all these nations come together. They had Germany, France, the so-called Arabs, the so-called European. Right. They had all these different nations come together. Africa. Right. They had all these different nations come together on how they were going to divide the inheritance of the Most High's people, man. This is history. And this is the Bible telling you that this is what they do to our people, man.
Right.
Like this isn't new. It shouldn't be new. But we gonna, that's what we're here for. We gonna tell you all about it. Like they take crafty counsel against the Lord's people, man. And what else?
The book of Psalms, chapter 83, verse 3. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones.
So all these other nations are coming together to destroy Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, man. Like they're coming together to do this, man. Like it's historic. You slack. You had your hand up. Oh, no, they coming together, man. It's not the first thing. It's not the first time this has happened.
Yeah, if I could, please. That's so heavy because it's like a reiteration. They have consulted against God's people. They've talked about what should we do with them? How should we? The same people that Blacks and Hispanics want to love have come together in big boardrooms and talked about how they should keep us in poverty, how they should keep us at the bottom and step all over us and murder us at will at any point in time. This 1920 is the same as 2022.
That's right.
Because they're lynching Black people.
Right.
They're still lynching Black people.
Right.
And nobody's going to jail.
That's right.
Nobody's going to jail. No Eric Garner, all these brothers, murderers, they're not going to jail. But these people have consulted against ours, which shows you that they view us as two different entities.
That's right.
Yeah, no matter whatever America says, it's one big melting pot, the land of the free. We all, we're all American. We all bleed red. That's a lie. That's a lie. You know what I'm saying? According to the Bible and according to their actions.
Right. Damn right.
As well as like the next part of the line where it says, and they have consulted against the Lord's hidden ones.
Right.
And that's the ISUPK. ISUPK, man.
That's
Damn
right.
That is the ISUPK. The
Damn right.
Lord's hidden ones. They talk about us. They talk about, damn, because of them, all of this is happening. They know. Ronald Reagan knew about chariots, and chariots were coming around since the 60s.
Right.
The ISUPK was founded in 1969. Is that a coincidence? Pray about it. You gotta think about what's really going on around you, black man, Hispanic man, Native American Indian man, and consider what the Lord is doing. Right. Consider if He really loves everybody like you say He does. Does the person you say you ought to love even love you back?
Right.
Does your oppressor love you back? 100 years later, does he love you back?
Good
40
night.
years later, does he love you back? I'm talking about from the point in time that you live right now. 20 years later, does he love you now? We were marching for George Floyd a year ago?
Right.
A year and a half ago, max. And they're still destroying our people around this globe.
Right. If I could, while we were marching for George Floyd, they were still killing us. Like they was killing us while we was marching with our oppressor.
Right.
Like, good night. Like,
Right.
it's like you had something you wanted to.
If I could, you know what I'm saying? Like you said earlier, you know what I'm saying? We have a veil on our eyes.
Damn right.
We have a veil on our eyes, man. And that veil is, like I've been saying all night, is Christianity,
Right.
holidays, birthdays,
Mhm.
smoking weed,
That's right.
getting high. That's the veil on our eyes. See, we can't see anything because we're too busy with our own lust, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? As a people. You know what I'm saying? What the Lord is showing our people to this day with the ISUPK that the Lord is coming whether you ready or not, man.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? The Lord is coming, and he waking up his preaching prophets all around the world to let our people know to stop doing these things, to lift up your veil and see what the hell is going on, man.
Right.
See what the hell is going on. Stop getting high. Stop going on vacation. Stop getting fly to Hawaii to do that want to sleep with you, man. To Dubai.
Yeah,
Right.
Dubai. You know what I'm saying? Stop doing those things, man.
Right.
That's right.
Getting blued out. Was like what that brother said. Brother said was heavy, man. Because we only doing these things because of oppression. We only getting high because of our condition. We hate our condition, and like our oppressor gave us the drugs, but we only using them because of our condition. Like we feel like we ain't got no power in our hands, man. But if we just open up these records, man, like get up out of that Christian church. First of all, before I say anything else, get up out of that Christian church and open up these records. Get in class, man. Get under the banner of ISUPK, under Commanding General Yohana, and find out the truth about these scriptures, man. Because you're not gonna learn the truth about the scriptures in these records in that Christian church, but you are gonna learn it up in here, man.
Right.
And you're gonna be able to. It's gonna make you see reality, and it's gonna give you the tools to be able to do something about this reality. Like you see that your oppressor is killing you. That's real. That is real. No matter how high you get, no matter how many prostitutes you buy, no matter how many strip clubs you visit, no matter how many OnlyFans pages you visit or how many OnlyFans pages you create, no matter how many babies you abort, your oppressor killing you is real.
That's right.
You seen that on the news. Just because you close Facebook and spark up that blunt, it's real. Those things are real, man. So we have to be adults, man. We have to grow up. Right. Long story short, we have to grow up and understand that the things that are happening to us is not only real in our lives, but as we grow up and have children and our children have children, we got to consider the world that they're going to live in. Right. And we're always going to be oppressed as long as we're doing the things that your oppressor wants you to do. Right. So if you can't stop getting high for the sake of, for the sake of yourself and for the sake of your nation, then you're going to have children and then you're going to die one day. And then your children are going to have to live in oppression because of you, because you couldn't put down a blunt, because you couldn't do something as simple as, You know what I'm saying? Just love your own nation.
Right.
Make marriages with your own people, man.
Right.
Instead of sleeping with Becky and all these other nations, all these like, because you couldn't just simply say kind on one kind. Because you couldn't do something as simple as that. Your children are gonna grow up oppressed.
Right.
Because of you. As long as we're not opening these records. That's what these records are for, man. The things written aforetime are written for our learning.
Right.
So that's why what we're reading in Psalms 83 is so heavy, because these things were written, they were written for us to learn from. Just like history was written for us to learn from. If you don't know your history, you're doomed to repeat it.
That's right.
That's why we're constantly oppressed by all these different nations all throughout history. Like, and how do they, like, another thing, like this, like, here's the thing about it. Like, they use you to oppress you initially.
Right.
Like, they used Martin Luther King to get black people to want to integrate with our oppressor. And then after we integrated, then your oppressor took over. And now look at us. Now we dying in the street because they use you. This is old as a Bible, man. In the Maccabees, they used black people. They used Israelites to convince other Israelites to forsake their culture and, you know what I'm saying, worship these false idols. Where it say in the scriptures it tells you, like, these other nations know, like, they've noticed that if you I'm just paraphrasing, if we as Israelites turn away from our power, then we become vulnerable. You know where that is?
That's in the Apocrypha. It's talking about, yeah, you're saying like the precept where it says, if they don't follow the laws of their God, then you can take them.
Right.
I'm paraphrasing myself. But if they are following the laws of their God, don't touch them. You know?
Right.
I'm gonna get it for you.
Most High Christ. Like, that's in the Bible. Like, they have to, like, they can't do anything to you as long as you are sober, as long as you are keeping the women that you stay with or that you sleep with. No matter how many women that you have, as long as you're keeping them, as long as you're following your law, statutes, and commandments, not eating the things that they try to poison you with, not doing their drugs, not sleeping with their women, not celebrating their holidays. And that's what this is all about. Separation, man. Separation from your enemy. Because the whole purpose is to get you to sin against the Most High God that chose you, and so that they can reach you, so that you are vulnerable. That's what it's all about, man.
It's I got it right.
Oh, Most High Christ.
It's Judith chapter 5 verse 20. So like it once. This is Judith chapter 5 verse 20. Now therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error in this people, and they sin against their God.
So if there be any error in the smallest thing, like something that we consider small, like just hitting a blunt, like I can't count how many times a brother or sister of mine has told me or told their loved ones, like, man, I just stay out the way. I don't bother nobody. I'm just staying out the way. I just smoke my little weed. Like, but the scripture just said, read that from the top again, Baba Kasha.
You can go even to 19 if you want.
Where are you at right now?
I'm in 20.
No, you could wait if you want to. You can go to yeah, Most High Christ.
Judith chapter 5 verse 20. Now therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error in this people, and they sin against their God, let us consider that this shall be their ruin.
Right. So that, like, if there be any error, like, not that, like, if there be any error, like, there's no certain thing that you can do to make yourself, like, it's like, okay, you could smoke your weed, but if you steal, then you out of there. But like, you good with your little weed, like, don't worry about that. You just staying out the way.
That's crazy.
You just minding your business, man. As long as you minding your business, but don't, you know what I'm saying? Don't go and murder your brother. It says if there be any error amongst our people, man.
That's right.
Then what did that say?
Let us consider that this shall be their ruin.
This will be their ruin. That thing that you think is small, that's going to be our ruin as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Us taking part in their culture and doing taking part in the traps that they laid for us, that's going to be our ruin.
Right.
That little thing, any error. That's why it's so important to follow these laws, statutes, and commandments to a T.
That's right.
To a T, for the protection of your nation. That's why it's not to oppress you. It's for your protection.
That's right.
It's for so that you can be untouchable under the Most High, man. That's what this is for. You could be so that our nation can be impenetrable. Is it any more on that, sir?
The rest of verse 20. And let us go up, and we shall overcome them. It's the heathen speaking.
Right. So like these heathen nations, they are against you, just like we're reading in Psalms 83. But for them to overtake you, you have to fall into the traps, man. Right. You have to fall into the traps. You have to have a small error. You have to make a small error, right. Just a small one. All you got to do is put away your wife.
Damn.
It's as simple as that.
Don't do that.
You sleep with a woman and just, you know what I'm saying, just ghost her. That's a small error that it takes. As soon as you ghost your wife or wives, or as soon as you know what I'm saying, as soon as you hit that blunt, right, you're opening yourself up for attacks. Right. It's like
I'm gonna say as soon as you eat that little piece of pork chop.
Yeah, right. How could I forget? As soon as you go to that catfish fry or that crawfish bowl, right. As soon as you bite that piece of bacon, as soon as you get you a little baconator, that's what's gonna get you caught up. A baconator. How much is a baconator?
It's like $5.
A baconator, like, it's $5 now. God, oh yeah. Ooh wee, I don't. Good night. Yeah, that 4 for 4. Yeah, that 4 for 4.
Wait, slide you. Sis, how you?
We go.
She know the inflation.
Yeah.
This sister righteous. She know what it is. She counting all the. That's a righteous sister right there. If I could preach.
Oh,
a righteous woman. She count the cost.
It's like it. Can I get a water real quick? Water, yeah, Baba Kasha.
You know what I'm saying? But I got those pieces.
Almost crazy. But now that damn baconator, that 4 for 4 with that bacon on it is gonna get you oppressed. It's gonna put you in a predicament to where you can't feed your family.
Right.
It's gonna put you in a position where you can't pay your rent, and you gotta while you're in all this oppression, while you're getting high, while you can't pay your rent, your lights is off, you can't feed your family. Then you gotta turn on your phone and look on social media and see your brother and sister dying.
Dang.
And because we feel like we ain't got no power in our hands to stop it or to you know what I'm saying, to do anything about it, we feel like we gotta ignore it. That's why, because of that baconator, because of Reggie, because of regular marijuana, because of that stuff is gonna get you, gonna give you a headache afterwards. Because of that, that's why. Because of that little dime sack, now you're going into captivity.
Damn, Salaki.
Because of the small errors. Salaki, go ahead.
Salaki, if I could, for $3, you are willing to starve. Let me tell you what we're not going to do here in the Israelite School UPK. Starve. We're not going to starve.
I'm right. Most time, correct. Get out of here.
Because you want to smoke Reggie for what? What is it? $3 a gram? I don't know.
Jesus.
I'm guesstimating. I'm guesstimating right now. It's like really, really cheap. And y'all down real bad out there. Y'all down bad, my boy. Y'all down bad. Y'all are going to buy weed for no money. You're smoking oregano to sin against the Lord and starve. When you could just not smoke, be righteous,
right?
You know, not sin, not transgress the Lord and His laws, and you'll be well. And you'll sit prettier than anybody in the Third World's War in America.
Right.
That's for goddamn sure.
Right.
That's how it's written up in the Bible. But you're reckless. You're a crash dummy. You one of them sisters that don't. That you having your hot girl summer. You just turned whatever year, 28. You just turned 28, and you getting your hot girl summer on. You gotta get out to the club. Well, the Lord has got to destroy your enemies.
Right.
The Lord has got to because He said He would do it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And He's gonna do it.
Damn right.
That's just what it's gotta be. Now, if you want to be on the other side, with the oppressor and with the opposition,
right.
The opposition of your people, your mother, your grandmother, your father, and your grandfather. Well, the Lord can't fight for both sides like you want to.
Right.
He's got to pick a side. He's already chosen you.
Right.
He's already chosen your father. He's already chosen your grandfather.
Right.
What do you choose?
Damn right. Give that a hand. Give that a hand. And that's what we're here to talk about tonight, man. Like we have to choose our culture over your oppressor's culture. Like, because if like at the end of the day, in the grand scheme of things, if you were like once you follow the law, statutes, and commandments and earn back your inheritance, you don't need to get high. You don't need it. You won't need to get high. You don't need to have your oppressor's women because you know what I'm saying, the Lord has given you 12 tribes to choose from. And if you're a righteous brother, if you like you're gonna be surrounded by women. I pray you understand that. Like you don't need to, you're gonna be surrounded by riches and blessings and kingdoms. And you're not gonna have to slave. But it's because we choose to make the small errors is why that's the reason why we're in captivity and we're suffering and we're dying, because of the choices that we make, the simple choices, the small errors that we make. That's why. You still holding that Psalms 83?
83 4.
Let me see. Yeah. It started 4, Baba Kashai.
This is Book of Psalms, chapter 83, verse 4. They have said, "Come and let us cut them off from being a nation."
To do what?
Let us cut them off from being a nation.
So your nationality matters, man. Who you are, you being a Black, Hispanic, and Native American matters, man. And your oppressor knows that.
Right.
That's why they put all these drugs in your community. That's why they put you on reservations and in the barrios. That's why they sent our Native American brothers and sisters to concentration camps and so-called boarding schools to forget their culture. They cut their hair and taught them a different language, man. And if you didn't comply as a child, if you were a child who was taught integrity and had a spine, and you stood on your culture and you loved your people, they killed you and buried you. That's why there's 700 bodies buried underneath these concentration camps and these so-called boarding schools on the east side of the all over the country, really. That's why they're dead, because they refused to cut their hair and lock their hair and unbraid their hair and put on their oppressor's uniform and speak their oppressor's language and eat their abominable foods, because they had integrity. And that's what you're going to learn in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. You're not going to learn integrity anywhere else. You learn it here. It's like it, where was we at? Verse 4. So they said they're going to come together and cut you off from being a nation. They know exactly what a lack of integrity does to this nation, man. So that what? Go ahead, read on.
that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
So that you can be no more remembrance. That's why we're the hidden ones.
Right.
Because we don't know who we are, man. Because they took crafty counsel against us to destroy us. So now their plan worked because we lack integrity. We lack integrity. So we pick up that blunt, we get on that stripper pole, we start that OnlyFans and doing all sorts of disgusting things. Like we do those things with ease. Like, not to mention, like we just talked about, it's just the small things that get you jammed up. But we do the big thing like it's nothing. Like we selling drugs to our people and glorify it. We get on the mic and talk about it, tell on ourselves. We sleep with another man's wife and we get on a mic and we publicize it, man. We make albums and we drop records about how we transgress against our brother, how we killed our brother, how we robbed our brother, how we slept with our brother's wives, how we sold how we sell drugs to our own mothers. Am I lying? Like, am I saying something that we don't already know? Like, we do these things. We sell drugs to our own mothers, and we make a song about it. We make a song about it, and like, not to mention, like that's not. Don't even like. We ain't even got to mention the small things, though, or what we think is small, like eating pork, or you know what I'm saying, like getting high, or celebrating Christmas. Like, those are small things to us, but we do the big thing like it's nothing, man. All it takes is the small error so that they can cut us off from being the nation, so that the name of Israel may be no more remembrance.
Right.
That's all it takes. That's all it takes. That's why we don't understand anything. Go ahead, read verse 5.
For they have consulted together with one consent.
With one consent. So they was all on the same page. They was like, look, man, with these, like, they know who you are. They're like, look, we gotta get them off their square so that we can rule over them. They all came together with the intent of ruling over you, black man, Hispanic man, Native American man, woman, and child. That's what they do. Go ahead, read on.
They are confederate against thee.
They are what?
Confederate against thee.
They are what?
Confederate against thee.
So we know what Confederate means, right? I mean, your oppressor, you can see right now to this day that, you know what I'm saying, they still fly Confederate flags. They love, you know what I'm saying, they this is not the first time we're hearing this. Like, they are Confederate against us, against the Lord's chosen people, man, to destroy you, to rule over you, man. And that's why they still fly those flags, because they are having nostalgic memories of when they used to be able to oppress you legally, when they used to be able to hang you on trees publicly and legally. And they flying it for a reason, because lynching is no different than a police officer kneeling on your neck for almost 9 minutes. That's lynching. And that's why they fly those flags. That's why they have so much pride in how they used to oppress you openly and publicly and viciously.
Right.
Because it's still happening today, and they know it.
Right.
Go ahead.
You know, if I could, you know what I'm saying, this for you Christians out there.
Most sound crazy.
You saying it's so heavy, man, that did you know that your Lord King was hung on a tree?
Right.
You thought the cross was made of?
Right.
Metal. You thought this is back in, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
The was walking the earth.
Right.
It was wood. And they still doing this day. They hanging on people. They hanging a 19-year-old, who's a boy, right? Young the other day, right? He got the 19-year-old
boy, right? Hands behind his back.
Hands behind his back, man. Good night.
Damn.
You Christians, you tell me. You tell the ISUPK. You tell Commander Junior Hanna where. You tell Commander Junior Hanna where is the Slocky. I lost my train of thought. I'm getting too excited. Slocky. You know what? How about you get out of the Christian church?
Damn right.
How about you stop it?
Damn right.
Because Christianity killed your king.
Right.
You know where it came from? Rome.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Rome. That's what Christianity was born in. They killed your king. So how about you get out of Christianity? How about you put down the weed? How about you stop being a whoremonger, being a whore? How about you stop just doing all wrong things and getting ISUPK?
Damn right.
Make your life easier.
Damn right.
See, what Christianity does, it teach our man how to be what? Drug dealers, gay. You know what I'm saying? It teach our women out here, you know what I'm saying? This doing what kind of ever. Don't listen to no authority. Don't listen to no black man for sure. You know what I'm saying? How about you come to ISUPK where you could be a righteous man or a righteous woman, man?
Damn right. No,
Right.
most anchor, you had something you want to.
Like, if I could, to piggyback off of Officer Bun, what he was bringing out was heavy because you are learning from the Christian church who serves your oppressor.
Right.
Who serves a white God that isn't even real, isn't written of in the Bible whatsoever, this thing or that thing. And you serve him so much so that you let your woman run sack over you. You let her do it. She talked to you crazy. Yeah, baby, I love you. I'm gonna pray for you. That's what you gonna pray for her. That's what you gonna do. Let me tell you, man, that's not real. That's not real. Your woman does serve a man. Let me tell you that. You poor Christian brother.
Poor Christian.
In that church, your woman does serve a man. He's just homosexual. He wears a lot of purple and he sings.
Good night.
On Sundays.
Right.
And on Wednesdays. And on Mondays. That's the man she serves. And whatever that nigga tell her, she's going to do it.
Right.
And sometimes that man tells her not to listen to you.
Right.
I'm sorry to say it. That's the real jam up in your relationship, you Christian men.
Mm-hmm.
That your pastor tells your wife not to listen to you. Your pastor tells your wife, what did he do? He yelled at you. What did he yell at you about?
Right.
Oh my God. Well, woman, thou art loosed.
Ooh-wee.
Woman, thou art loosed.
Oh,
That's not in the Bible.
Right.
It's not in the Bible. Did you know that? Did you know that woman, thou art loosed is not T.D. Jakes did not quote that from the Bible. He made it up.
Right.
He made it up. You're not loose. You're not loose to go on the streets or have a hot girl summer.
Right.
You gotta get your ass back in the house and squash the beef. Squash the beef because you are bound. You're bound by honor for that marriage.
Right.
The day you laid down before that man, you told him and you told God, this is my nigga and I'm gonna hold him down.
Right.
That's what you told God. That's what you told him. Well, you be a woman of your word. Don't be a hot girl.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Ooh-wee.
And because you don't want to be a real woman. Well, that's a real woman, what I just described.
Right.
Because you don't want to be a real woman, you like the words of your oppressor that are given to you by a black face that is your Christian pastor.
Right.
You will hate that black man. Well, you know what I see? I see that you love white men more than you really love black men.
That's right.
You only like a black man when he does whatever you tell him, but also doesn't do what you tell him, but also feeds you when you're saying you're not hungry, but also does this and does that.
Jesus Christ.
Which is way too complicated for any regular man.
That's
You know
right.
what I'm saying? I don't know. Yeah, that's it. That's
really
it. That's really it.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? Get it together.
Like, we just bringing out the facts. Like, we just bringing out the facts so that we can understand how crucial it is for us to separate from our oppressors, man. Just separate from all the things that they do, man. All the things that they give us to destroy us. We have to separate more than just physically. Like, we can't just, like we said earlier, we can't just call the so-called white man a devil and then go and you know what I'm saying, spark up his blunt,
Right.
or, you know what I'm saying, use his drugs,
Right.
or go to his Christian church.
Right.
Like you can't, that doesn't make sense.
Right.
Like you can't do that. You have to separate. You have to separate completely. You have to get your spirit out of this place. We're gonna you got well, we're gonna drop that. Let's get Revelation chapter 18, verse 4. We have to get our spirit out of this place, man. We have to get our minds and our we have to get our behavior out of this place, man.
That's right.
We have to separate entirely from this wicked kingdom, man, that's been oppressing us and destroying us and ruling over us and got us, you know, destroyed.
Right.
It's got us absolutely destroyed, man. You go ahead, read that whenever you got it.
This is the book of Revelation,
No, that was
chapter
fast.
18, verse 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, "Come out of her, my people."
Come out of that again.
And I heard another voice from heaven saying, "Come out of her, my people."
Come out of her. That her is talking about America, man.
Right.
It's coming out of your oppressor, man. Coming out of the ideal, the ideas and the philosophies of the nation that oppresses you, man. That convinces you to turn your back on your culture and pick up a whole new culture, man.
Right.
That's what it's talking about. Come
Right.
out of her, man. Come out of this horde called Babylon, this whore of America, man. Because you getting high, you getting on that stripper pole, you know what I'm saying, creating that OnlyFans, you sleeping with your oppressor, you leaving your man, or a man leaving his woman. That is the ideals. That is you sleeping. That is you committing whoredoms with your oppressor, man.
Right.
That is, and the Lord is telling you to come out of her. Come out, get your mind out of this place, man. Get your mind out of here, man. Out of this place, man. Because when this kingdom falls, then you're gonna be running back to your people. You're gonna be running back to this Bible, man.
That's right.
You'll be running back to your culture. But it may be too late. Like I pray you understand that. Like this ain't the Christian church. You can't just indulge in the nation that's oppressing you and binding you and destroying you. And then once the clock run out, once that sky crack open and, you know, thermonuclear warfare is filling the world, then you want to decide that you done getting high or you done, you know what I'm saying, sleeping with your oppressor. Like it's going to be too late by then. Like it's already happening.
Right.
Like, come out of her now.
Right.
Come out of her. Get out of this mindset of God loves everybody and that we need to, you know, like all these like that the law is done away with and that, you know, we are all the same people and like get out of that. Get out of that right now. We are urging you to get out of there. I pray you understand. I'm not gonna be the dead horse. Go ahead.
If I could, please. What you're saying is super heavy and right on point. You think that when these bombs drop, Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian man, that your oppressor is just going to turn and everybody's going to kumbaya and we're going to get this thing together? It's going to be a race war.
Damn right.
It's going to be Trump supporters are going to be like, finally. They're going to feel like the government has dissolved, and finally, the only thing that's been holding me back, the KKK, the Posse Kamatazi, the Ku Klux, you know, the QAnons, they're gonna feel like finally, when those bombs drop, they're gonna finally, I can do to these niggas what I've always wanted to do. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Get back in chain. I don't got cotton, but you need to grow it. That's what they're going to feel.
Right.
And I don't care how many blunts you smoked in Austin, Texas.
Right.
I don't care how many blunts you smoked in Denver, Colorado. That's never going to change.
Right.
There are way more. the white people you've met is just a small demographic. Do I have to explain that to you, black man? That's a small pool of people.
Right.
Outside of that greater city, there are many minor towns that feel like Donald Trump should be president.
Right.
They
Good
feel
night.
like Ronald Reagan was talking correctly for the most part, and Reaganomics. I don't know. You know, they feel like that they should be on top. That they should be on top. That this is their land, and that the and long live the Alamo, and those were heroes. That's what they really feel. When they really want, that's all just an excuse to empower themselves over you, man. This is not the land of equality. This is the land of equity. And they own most of it.
Right.
They own most of it, man. It's them then China.
Right.
And when those bombs drop, when the Lord, sends forth the last plagues, you're gonna wish that you married a black man. Wish that you married a black woman. Because let me tell you, all of you brothers that are married to those other women, you're on their family's hit list.
Right.
You're on those families' hit list. If you don't believe that, Google that.
Right.
There's many KKK members talking about how their sister married a Negro, and how they just wish they could do X, Y, and Z to them. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot, but yeah, that's it.
No, most high Christ. If at this point in the game, if you are still choosing your oppressor's ways and choosing your oppressor, good night. You are selfish. Like, that's selfish. Like, if you're still, like the priest just brought out, like the priest just brought out, like that your so-called white friends, that is a very small population, and even they hate you. They don't give a damn that you're oppressed. It's not them. But your so-called white friends, they are a very small population of the entire body of your oppressor that wants to keep you in chains. Because the majority of them want to keep you, they want you dead.
Right.
They want you oppressed. They want you suffering. That's what your oppressor wants, man. So at this point, for you to choose one non-poisonous snake, if you're gonna let your nation of people, your brothers and your sisters and your children, to be overcome by a nation of snakes, just so you can have your one non-poisonous snake, you are selfish and you are greedy, and you have no integrity. You have no integrity, man.
Right.
Go ahead, read on. You still got that Revelations 18?
That ye be not partakers of her sins.
So come out of her, man. So you don't partake in this thermonuclear warfare, man. Like, to hell with Ukraine, man. To hell with Russia, man. To hell with all these other nations. Let them destroy it. Let them destroy each other and themselves, man. Because as soon as they destroy themselves and each other, this kingdom is going to fall. Their rule is going to be obsolete. And then the scriptures say that Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning that follow.
Right.
So as soon as your oppressor falls, then we're up next. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans who have been oppressed for good night, for as far as we know, only 500 years, but we know that's not true. Yeah, we've been oppressed since the garden, since your oppressor was able to snake his way into your wife's ear and tell them that they don't need to listen to you.
Right.
And to get you to follow these other cultures, man. Since the beginning, man, you have been oppressed. But as soon as we come out of her, the whore called Babylon, America, as soon as we come up out of her, then the sooner we're going to be able to not be oppressed. We're not going to be able to look. We're not going to have to look on the news and see that another brother and a sister has been killed by the hands of our oppressor. Right. Nothing's being done about it. And now, because we have no power, we got to get high or buy a prostitute or whore ourselves out for our women, or Lord knows what we doing out here, man. Because the boundaries is, I gotta tell you, is the limit. Good night. Like women aren't even ashamed of being gold diggers, and I'm seeing all gold digger challenges and exposures, and what's it called? The smash or pass, and I'm seeing, and they just like they over there. You know what I'm saying, gyrating, bending over, and doing circles and all that, trying to get a smash, trying to, so somebody can say, "Oh yeah, I will sleep with you."
Exactly.
Like there's no boundaries right now. So like you,
right? No, what you're saying is so on point. Like our people are, because they're so gung ho and so die hard for the oppressor system. They will do anything. They will sell you out. You know what I'm saying? Just recently, there was a black woman that was nominated and elected into a high judicial system called the Supreme Court. She's a Supreme Court judge now, and she had to go in front of a lot of pale-skinned men, if I can say. If I can say that, and had to talk about how she loved white men and how she loved their white country and how she supported it, and she doesn't really fight for niggas. She doesn't really fight for black people or brown people, you know, and things like that. She basically had to defend herself from her own culture and her own skin to get a higher position in this country.
Good night.
Black people, they don't even see that. All they see is a black woman is about to be a Supreme Court judge, and they celebrate and exonerate and promote her and defend her. When really you should criticize her.
Right.
Because she is getting that position because she is sacrificing all of her culture.
Right.
She's sacrificing everything she is, a black, what she's supposed to be is a black, upstanding, righteous woman.
Right.
Who upholds the honor of herself and her people, which includes her men, all the men in her, all the men in her nation, all the children in her nation, and so on and so forth. But you know what this woman is? She is a black woman who sleeps with an oppressor.
Good night.
She sleeps with an oppressor. So all of her children are oppressors.
Jesus.
So it makes it that much easier for her to defend her children because she's not, they're not her people, so to speak.
Right.
They're white. They're you know, they're so-called white children. And they, you know, it's not so hard to be politically correct when she talks about it.
Right.
And the men that she defended in the past as a black woman who got those black votes to be DA, district attorney, which you have to be voted into, which you have to be those other lower but still high-ranking positions, she has to regret those decisions to get to this new higher position.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? When what she should do is just stand for her people.
Right.
Stand for her people, man. Stand for the people who love and hate her. Right. Because when she gets up because of her righteousness, we'll defend her. But when she gets up because of her wickedness, sadly, we still defend her, man.
That's right.
Black people ought to realize that not every, what do they say? Not all skin folk are your kinfolk.
Right.
Just because you are dark skinned doesn't mean you're acting like you should be, man.
That's right.
You need to. We need to act on one accord and in one order.
Right.
One order where we defend ourselves, man. Kamala Harris is a East Indian. She's white, really. Right. Her grandfather is a Caucasian and her mother is an East Indian. But her whole platform is built on how she's black. Right. There's not a drop of black or Hispanic in her.
Right.
But we defend and promote her because of her lightly caramelized complexion.
Right.
And her whole career is built on putting black and Hispanic men behind bars longer than they should be.
Right. Damn right.
Now, if you just look a little bit into the woman, you'll realize that you shouldn't promote her. And
Right.
that's what we're teaching here in the ISUPK.
That's right.
We're teaching that you should promote who should be promoted, and you should denounce who should be denounced.
Damn right.
These people hold on to the system, hold on to the things that keep your fathers, your uncles, your mothers, your aunties, your sisters, and your brothers locked up in cages.
Right.
They promote Joe Biden's system.
Right.
They
Right.
voted for it.
Right.
Because Kamala Harris was running with him.
Right.
Good
Right.
night.
The ISUPK never promoted Kamala Harris.
Damn right.
We despise Kamala Harris from the very beginning.
Damn right.
As you should despise every woman and every man who despises the low, even the smallest black man, black woman, or black child.
Damn right.
It's a lot.
Most time cry, give integrity a hand. Us not being fooled by your oppressors, you know what I'm saying? Like putting this dark-skinned white woman
Right.
in second in command in office and putting an oppressor, both of the good night. Good night. I'm not gonna double down. You already brought it out.
This is the
Yeah.
also the rock I was saying so heavy with that sister that what she said, Supreme Court judge. You know what I'm saying? I bet all her life, I'm pretty sure she's an older woman. All her life said that you're not gonna be that. I'm pretty sure she thought she was gonna be president of the United States.
Right.
Or something like that.
Right.
And some white teacher class said, well, you can't do that. It's impossible. How about you think small? And all her life through college, she had to fight.
Right.
Whatever she went through, had to fight for her position she had now. And now she turned her back on the people that still fight to this day, still fighting to survive, just like she did.
Right.
Now she's gonna tell them that the Wolves had that, you know what I'm saying, Black, Hispanic, and American.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
People she fought against.
Right, exactly. You know what I'm
Good
saying?
night.
Like this is that's when the gate, as scripture said, the gate language, man.
Right.
Like, we don't have no right to protect us because our protection wants to be part of America.
Right.
They want to be part of America. Like Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King was supposed to protect us, but he didn't. Before he died, what he said. You know what I'm saying? He left his people in the burning house, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This is the same thing going on to this day. When you just brought off Barack Allen so heavy because ain't nothing changed.
Right.
Ain't nothing changed, man.
Right.
We don't have nobody to protect us. That's why the water to the man in the eyes, the water to the brothers in the eyes became, man. Commander in the honor, man. Because we are the front line protecting Black, Hispanic, and American. And how dare you say, what are you doing for Black, Hispanic, and American? Let me tell you what we doing for Black, Hispanic, and American under Junior Hunter, Slocky. You know what I'm saying? What we doing, we are opening up, we are giving them life.
Right.
We tell them how to
Right.
be a black man, how to be a black woman, how to be a
That's
Hispanic woman, a Hispanic man. You know what I'm saying? We are teaching our people to come back to their culture, man. That's what
Right.
we're teaching our people. We're teaching our people not to go out there and sell drugs to kill your own people. We're teaching our people not to go out there and sleep with your brother real. We're
Right.
teaching our people, you know what I'm saying? We're teaching our people to stay together, to have happy marriage, man.
Right.
Work stuff out, man. That's what we're teaching our people in ISUPK,
right.
man. You know what I'm saying? It's like
Damn right. Now get that a hand. Get that a hand. And what he said was absolutely correct. Like you're not gonna get the truth outside of the ISUPK because everybody else they just trying like we've been bringing out all night. They just trying to fulfill their own lust. So to fulfill their own lust, they're gonna placate their oppressor by sleeping with them, by doing their drugs, by being rebellious, by whatever. Like they're gonna do all the things that their oppressor has told them is okay. That is okay to do.
that's right.
But here in the ISUPK is the only place that you're gonna find real men and women with integrity. Slack, is there any more on that Revelations?
Yes, this is a little bit more.
Okay, most time Christ. I'm try to. No, I don't want to run too long.
And that ye receive not of her plagues.
Right, so that you don't receive these plagues, man. So that you don't receive death, man.
Right.
Separate
Right.
for the sake of your nation. Separate from these other nations, man. so that you don't die the same death, because your oppressor is going to receive a punishment for what he's done to blacks, Hispanics, and I pray you understand that. That's right. Your oppressor is to receive a punishment, a just punishment for the oppression he's put blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans through, man. Right. But how can we expect them to be punished if we're doing the same things that they're being punished for? They're killing us, we're killing us. They put drugs in our communities, we're doing the drugs. That's right. They legalized abortion, they convinced us to abort our children, we're aborting our children and paying them to kill us. Like, how can, like, we can't be hypocrites, man. Salaki, let me get last precept. Let me get Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12 about Kasha. Because that's what we got to understand. That's what we got to understand. And bear with me. I'm not gonna be too long. I'm trying to get y'all up out of here real quick. But we got to understand that, like, this is a spiritual battle that we fighting, man. And what we doing is, like, it's not just the good white people and the good Africans and the good Arab people versus, you know what I'm saying, trying to separate from the bad ones. Like, they're all bad. We were never intended to join with them and marry them. And, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, we were never intended to mingle with them. We were never intended to mingle with them, man. And they took crafty counsel against us. They came together so that they can divide us. So all of them are guilty. So the same punishment that your oppressor is going to get, the so-called white man, the same punishment, like the same punishment that the white man is going to get for putting blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans in captivity is the same punishment that the Arabs are going to get for building the ships that brought the Lord's people over into captivity. The same people that the same punishment that the Africans are going to receive for rounding us up and selling us into captivity. The same, like, they're going to get the same punishment, man, because they all had a hand in our captivity. So we're not fighting against, you know what I'm saying, just good white folk versus bad white folk. We're not that, like, that's not the nature of our battle. Right. Go ahead. You got that
Ephesians
most
chapter, Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood.
So this ain't about just, you know what I'm saying, taking up, like, what was that, in fact, who ended up making a fool of themselves on live television. They out there marching with AR-15s. They got women in their ranks, man, which is very cowardice, by the way. If I can just sidebar real quick, it's cowardice to have women in your ranks, because the men are supposed to protect the women, but you got women fighting to protect you. Man, come on. It's like, what'd you say?
That's very Esau to me.
Good night. That's very Esau. That's the Esau tendencies. But you got your oppressor. You got you over here marching. You about what they have, like, it was like 60 deep. Like, it looked like it was about 30 or 40 jokers out there with AR-15s and marching, thinking they bad. They just out there just, you know what I'm saying, marching, and they toting their guns and just flexing. And then they end up shooting their own people by accident because they don't know what the hell they doing. Right. Meanwhile, your oppressor's army, your oppressor's military is thousands, they're millions deep. Right. And they over conquering, you know what I'm saying? They conquering land. They out here making moves. They over here, like, they conquering out here. And that's just one branch of your oppressor. Like, that's just one country, the so-called America. Not to mention Russia. Not to mention, you know what I'm saying, all the China. Like, not to mention, like, you're surrounded, you're so outnumbered. Like, we could never just go and march in the streets with guns 60 deep and think that we gonna, you know what I'm saying, make a mark. Like, that's not what this is about, man. So we not wrestling against flesh and blood. We're not gonna fight this war by killing every, you know what I'm saying, every oppressor that we see. That's not how we're gonna do this. Go ahead.
God.
Oh, Salakia.
I got you. But against principalities. Against powers,
right?
Against the rulers of the darkness of this world.
Right. So we fighting against things. We're fighting against governments, man. We're fighting against powers and kingdoms, things that are far greater. That we're gonna need the Most High, man. We need the Most High. It's not gonna take 60 guns to get us out of this hell. It's not gonna take. It's not gonna take. You know what I'm saying? Us marching in the streets looking badass. It's gonna take for us to separate from our oppressor, man. Trust the Most High,
Right.
and follow our culture, man. That's what it's gonna take. It's like you go ahead and read on Bible Kashai.
God. But against principality, against spiritual wickedness in high places.
Against what?
Against spiritual wickedness in high places.
So this is a spiritual battle, man. And our oppressor has gotten high above us, man. We're not going to be able to just march in the street with guns or march in the street and say, hands up, don't shoot. And you know what I'm saying? Like side by side with your oppressor. That's not how this is going to work. It's not how this is going to work. The only way that this is going to work is for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to choose Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, man. And you choose Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans by separating from Christmas, separating from drugs, separating from whoredom and being a whoremonger, separating from all the things that they gave you to destroy you so that they could get up high above you.
Right.
With that, we're going, unless there's any questions or any additional comments in the room, check the chat. Okay, most correct. Salaki. Almost on sure. So like it's been a while. I gotta get back in the swing of things.
Video department, y'all.
Oh no, I don't. Don't do that to me.
I ain't gonna be on the call. You got it.
Almost. Yeah, I can't be a camera. Do you believe that you do not need an Israelite wife to bring Israelites into the world? Okay, if I could, it says from more. That's their name.
Okay.
More. So if I could just address that real quick. I'm not sure if this person is still, you know what I'm saying, attending the class, but so our nations are determined by the nationality of our fathers, right? So if a black man sleeps with any nation of people, now we're commanded to only deal with Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans according to the Bible. We're commanded to deal with just black people. But if a black man sleeps with another nation of people, then that child that is produced from that interracial marriage, which is unlawful to the Most High, that child is an Israelite because of the father.
That's right.
So the long story short, the nationality is determined by the father. But to be absolutely clear, you are not to, if you are a Black, Hispanic, and Native American, man or woman, you are not to sleep with any other nation as commanded in the Bible. And because here's the thing, like our sisters especially have lost faith in Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans because our brothers and sisters our brothers are homosexuals. Our brothers are getting locked up for, you know what I'm saying, playing into our oppressors' hands. Our brothers are, you know what I'm saying, effeminate. Our brothers are, you know what I'm saying, we're following after our oppressor. So our sisters, because our sisters have lost faith in our brothers, they're getting them white man and thinking that's glorious because they got a little money, because they got a little status and power. So, but what they don't realize is that they are destroying our nation and creating confusion, because that sister sleeping with a white man, those children are going to those children are going to have the a little bit of pigmentation. So we think that just because you got a little bit of pigmentation in your skin, that you black. That's why we think that Kamala Harris is, you know what I'm saying, a black woman.
Right.
So we creating confusion. So a brother is gonna go and get him a light skinned sister, thinking that that's a light skin or a dark skinned Edomite, thinking that that's a light skinned sister, and you know what I'm saying, like this, right? A Kardashian, like thinking like you gonna it creates confusion, man. And you over here sleeping with your oppressor as a, you know what I'm saying, as a black woman, and you're creating dark skinned oppressors. So it just creates confusion.
I got what you looking for.
What that
I got the precepts.
in okay, Most High Christ.
Numbers. I got numbers.
Most High Christ.
Yeah, I got numbers.
Yeah, Baba Kashaf, if you want to.
This is Numbers chapter 1, verse 18. And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month. And they declared their pedigrees after their families. But the house of their fathers.
By what?
By the house of their fathers.
So that's how you determine the nationality of your children. And that's what is confusing our people, because we think that, you know, we believe in all these, you know what I'm saying, interracial. We believe that just because you got a little pigmentation in your skin that you're black. You think that, you know what I'm saying, like just all you got to do, because of slavery, because of colorism, your oppressor thought that, you know, or they told you that if you have just a drop of, you know what I'm saying, black in your blood, then you black. Like all you had to do is just have a little bit of color and you black. But that's not how the Most High looks at things. And the way that the Most High looks at things trumps the way that our oppressor looks at things, or how we look at things. Like it's as simple as that, man. This is coming straight out of the Bible, man. It's like, is it any more on that?
That's really it.
Okay, Most High Christ. So I pray I answer that question. Let me make sure there's no more questions before I close it out. With that, we're gonna pass the class over to, you got Priest and Officer 50 of Bon Zion for the security announcements. Hey, get that priest in hand.
This is the ISUPK security announcements. We are the ISUPK, started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, on the Commander Junior Hammond. Rules for new brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need interpretation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6 months period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. Numbers chapter 18, verse 21. Malachi chapter 3, verses 8 through 10. Means 10 in the Hebrew. Ma'asherah. 10 of every penny of any increase the Lord give you. Give to treasury department or teacher. Priest fund. Free will offering for priests. Not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocation. We have the Passover, which is the 14th day of the first month, which would be Friday, April the 15th, 2022. You can find it in Exodus chapter 12, verses 1 through 51, Leviticus chapter 23, verses 4 through 5, 1 Corinthians chapter 5, verses 7 through 8, and 2 Chronicles chapter 3, verse 17. The Passover will be in Cocoa Beach, Florida.
I'm right. It'll Passover hand. It's definitely gonna be glorious. It's like
Reminder for Akim and Aqua to check the bulletin board in the hallway. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black, including boots, shirts, pants, headbands, and scarf. And that includes the ISUPK security announcement.
I'm right. Most High in Christ, the water priest. With that, imadium, which means the stand. Osara, Wapanya Hakwadam, which means turn and face the east. We're going to do the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew and in the English. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Hayah, Shemka, Yahweh, Malakbaka, Daba'ah, Ratazaka, Hayah, Aisha, Ba'arataza, Kawah, Hayah, Bashemayim, Latanawa, Lakum, Call, Yawum, Wasalaknawa, Kawawatnawa, Kasalaknawa, Kawawatinawa, Wala'ah, Tabiya'anawa, Wanasai one, Abal, Hawashanawa, Mayan, Rod, Kayak, Lakub, Amalakwa, Waha Allah, Wahata Pa'arat, I will love you, Amun. In the English, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day, our daily bread, forgive us our debt, as we forgive our debtors, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. All right, sorry, we're gonna face the brothers. Give a courtesy salute to the brothers. Turn to face the brothers. Men of Israel, Majah Shabbat, Majim, Barak, Yahweh Shem Yahshua Yadimata, Nosar, face the sisters. Give a courtesy salute to the sisters. Men of Israel, Majah Shabbat, Majim, Barak, Yahweh Shemal Atam Ba'Shem Yahshua Yadimata, dismiss.